Just as Sun Tzu's Art of War is read as a lesson in business strategy rather than fighting in a military sense, or Machiavelli's The Prince is written about government but used as a guide to management, so this book uses the creative processes of good advertising as a metaphor for business practice. Nearly all rich and talented people are notably talented, educated, charming, or good looking. They become rich and powerful by wanting to be rich and powerful. Your vision of where or who you want to be is the greatest asset you have. Without having a goal, it's difficult to score. Why do we strive for excellence when mediocrity is required? There is little demand in the commercial world for excellence. There is a much, much bigger demand for mediocrity. The truth is, I'm glad it's this way. Imagine a world where all clients were wonderful, where we could where we could produce whatever we felt like with no restrictions, with everybody having the freedom to produce all their fantasies unfettered by tedious clients. What would we do? We would react against it, saying, "Isn't this boring? How can we be dull? Let's do it badly. Let's make it ugly, and let's make it really cheaply." That's the nature of the creative person. All creative people need something to rebel against. It's what gives their lives excitement, and it's creative people who make the clients' lives interesting. He puts a thumbprint in the book. He says, "I do it for me." So, how good do you want to be? How good do you want Bitcoin to be? Note he has the scale on the far left from a little person to Napoleon, the best. How good do you want to be? How good do you want Bitcoin to be today? All of us want to be good at our jobs, but how good do we really want to be? Quite good, good, very good, the best in our field, or the best in the world? Talent helps, but it won't take you as far as ambition. Everybody wants to be good, but not many are prepared to make the sacrifices it takes to be great. To many people, being nice in order to be liked is more important. There's equal merit in that, but you must not confuse being good with being liked. Most people are looking for a solution, a way to become good. There is no instant solution. The only way you learn is through experience and mistakes. You will become whoever you want to be. You can achieve the unachievable. It's the last section for today. Firstly, you need to aim beyond what you are capable of. You must develop a complete disregard for where your abilities end. Try to do the things that you're incapable of. If you think you're unable to work for the best company in its sphere, make that your aim. If you think you're incapable of running a company, make that your aim. If you think you're unable to be on the cover of Time magazine, make it your business to be there. Make your vision of where you want to be a reality. Nothing is impossible. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you guys come in. Welcome to Bitcoin Talk Show. We're doing a very special edition today called Bitcoin Marketing Agency. We're going to need lots of feedback from you in the chat. And later in the shows, we'll be having calls where you can show us your elevator pitch. But first, we're going to talk in general about elevator pitches, what they are, how to make them. We're going to brainstorm together on various parts of Bitcoin that we could include in our elevator pitch. And then we're going to have you try for 30 seconds apiece to do your elevator pitch. And I know 30 seconds is really fast, but this is going to help us become better at elevator pitches. This is going to help us figure out what's the most important thing about Bitcoin. If we were really on an elevator and you had 30 seconds to talk to me, to tell me about this incredible new internet money, what would you say? Would you say it's like email? Would you say it goes up in value? Would you say it doesn't have any corporations or governments behind it? What would you say to plant the seed of Bitcoin in someone else's mind? That's what we're doing today on Bitcoin Talk Show. But first, we're going to do the news. Switching over to camera two. Camera two. Ooh. I don't know if the cameras are working today. It might be too much bandwidth, but we're going to give it a try anyway. Don't forget to move the microphone. And this is Bitcoin Talk Show. Today is Monday, July 30th, 2018. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. Typewriter apocalypse still coming soon. Two typewriters remaining. The price of Bitcoin is down 1.13% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 8,125, a high of 8,271, and a low of $8,085. That's $1 for 12,309 Satoshis. And now a quick check of the altcoin markets. Ethereum down about 2%, Ripple down 1%, Bitcoin Cash down 2%, EOS down 4%, Stellar down 5%, Litecoin down 1.5%, Cardano down 3%, IOTA down 3.75%, and Tether even, pushing Tron back to the number 11 spot. As always, you can support this show by donating to the World Crypto Network using any of the Bitcoin addresses or crazy altcoin QR codes currently on your screen. Thanks so much to our donors on our Patreon campaign, where 32 patrons have donated $243 a month to the World Crypto Network. Did you know you can subscribe on Patreon for as little as $2 a month using your credit card? Just set it and forget it. Donate to the World Crypto Network today. And 82 patrons on the Mad Bitcoins Patreon account are donating $513 a month. These Patreon donations and Bitcoin donations are even more important in a downtime like this, when we're getting less views, and less views means less advertiser dollars. So it's even more important that we do this show, especially during the downtimes. But it's even harder because there are no rewards, and it's harder to pay rent and eat food. We've got a Bitcoin meetup coming up this Thursday at bitcoinlasvegas.org. And you can check it out, the Crypto Social meet and greet this Thursday night. Hopefully, I'll be recruiting people there for this Friday night, when I plan to hand out flyers on Fremont Street again. It went pretty good 2 weeks ago. We made a nice video. We handed out, I don't know, 5 or 10 flyers. People are, they're not that interested in flyers. They've kind of been flyered to death by all these various advertising campaigns and so forth. So they just think you're another advertising campaign giving them a flyer. But actually, you're a volunteer there, giving them the important information about Bitcoin that could change their life. All right. And moving on, our Tallycoin campaign to raise $1 million, specifically for the marketing and promotion of Bitcoin, which, of course, as a Bitcoin marketing agency, our first action would be to donate a bunch of this money to the World Crypto Network, so that the World Crypto Network could become a real network and could spread the word about Bitcoin. So if you like spreading the word about Bitcoin and you're looking for an organization to help you spread the word about Bitcoin, and like they're saying in the chat, if you bought 5 years ago, you could go ahead and donate right now to the QR code on your screen to help the Bitcoin marketing agency. We'll use this money to run the World Crypto Network, which helps promote Bitcoin, as well as to print out Bitcoin flyers, maybe some Bitcoin costumes, whatever you guys think we need to help better spread the word about Bitcoin. That's what this group is about. Bitcoin's price needs to move above 83.50 to regain the bull bias. Let's see. Still at 81.11 right now. Let's see what he says. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go straight to the view. Bitcoin's price consolidation, when viewed against the backdrop of the descending channel breakout, indicates bullish exhaustion. Consequently, the immediate bullish outlook has been neutralized. Ouch. A break above 83.40, the upper end of the sideways channel, would allow a retest of 84.68, the 200-day moving average, and 85.07, the July 24th high. A daily close above the 200-day moving average would confirm a long-run bear to bull trend change. On the downside, a fall back into the descending, broadening channel would shift risk in favor of a deeper price pullback to the 100-day candle moving average in the 4-hour chart, currently located at 7,496. Interesting stuff from Omkar Godbul, who still owns no cryptocurrency assets. This is very sad. It's very sad that CoinDesk has people working for them that don't own any Bitcoin. What year is this? 2018. Seems a little late, man. Seems a little late to be writing about this every day to see it go from 6,000 to 8,000, not even to get yourself one. I mean, come on, man. I told you if you put your QR code up, we'd donate to you. But you don't seem to be interested in that. You have about 2,100 followers. You're working out of India. I'm telling you, man, put up a Bitcoin QR code and we can change this text at the bottom of your articles that says you hold no cryptocurrency assets. Come on, man. Join us, Omkar. Join us. And yeah, if you want to write to Omkar Godbowl at Godbowl17 on Twitter, complete with his picture that's low res, we need to help this guy. He gives us all this trading information, all this great analysis for CoinDesk, and CoinDesk doesn't even have the decency to give him a Bitcoin. This is pretty pathetic. I don't know why they're doing this. It's really sad. Kim Kardashian West raises stakes with Bitcoin in a charity poker night out. Okay, tell me more. The reality starlet staked what appeared to be physical Bitcoin chips on a charity poker night out. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, this is a Kyocera, whatever it is, Bitcoin wallet, and this is just a token. It doesn't have any value. Let's see. These chips, they say they're Bitcoin chips. I can't really see it close enough. So there's the Kia Lara designed Bitcoin. Crypto entrepreneur Matt Rosniak seems to have given her at the tournament earlier that day. So it seems like she's already gambling it away. That's what it seems like to me. It's great that she takes a picture of Bitcoin, puts it out there. Kanye West talked about Bitcoin in 2014, and then he murdered a small altcoin named Coinye. Coinye, what happened to you, Coinye? Crypto venture capital firm believes Bitcoin ETF approval is imminent. Imminent? That means very soon. This group is called Fatfish. Okay. Fatfish believes that the SEC is going to approve an ETF soon. We're just a couple of months away from being ready for the market to generally accept a Bitcoin ETF. Once again, the Winklevi have been trying for this ETF for a long time, and they keep failing. We need someone better like the CBOE to come in. We need to ignore this Winklevi ETF nonsense. Isn't that right, Camera 2? That's right. Bitcoin survey reveals huge price growth potential. The Bitcoin price has ticked up again recently on hopes of a U.S. exchange-traded Bitcoin fund and interest from institutional investors, which both will mean a fresh wave of investments into cryptocurrency. Hubba, hubba, hubba. Fatfish Internet Group markets could accept Bitcoin ETF within a couple of months. It's the same story with a different headline. BTC price analysts, strong weekly close favors bulls. I like to see that. I like to see that. A strong week for Bitcoin price bulls. All right, all right, all right. Looks pretty good. Despite the positive outlook, it's important to remember that the bulls are attempting to recover from lower lows at 5,800. In order to confirm a bull market, a higher high over 10,000 followed by a higher low must be found. Otherwise, the bears will capitalize on any uncertainty and look to test $5,000. Pantera Capital posts 10,000% gain over 5 years, calls for Bitcoin to head higher. Congratulations to Pantera Capital. I remember one point when their entire fund was underwater. I think they bought Bitcoin at 800. Bitcoin went down to 200. Everybody was worried about them, but look at them holding on, showing that strength. Strong hand, Pantera Capital. Well done. Rogue Kiwi employee mined 500,000 Bitcoins on company hardware, then lost them all. But that's not the end to this story. What's really great about this story is that the CEO got interested. He heard about these Bitcoins and he said, hey, we should be mining those ourselves for the company. Great story, but still 500,000 Bitcoins. Ah, amazing. Somehow lost them all. Doesn't really say. The guy quit. But yes, the experience made the CEO a believer. Excellent. And check it out. Now you can read through 11,000 plus of WikiLeaks Twitter DMs dumped publicly. There's no need to download, just scroll. And as it says right here, the idea was that the attitudes and behavior of WikiLeaks behind closed doors is relevant, especially their coordination of PR, propaganda, and troll ops through assets that are public supporters but not publicly known to take cues from WikiLeaks. So it seems like WikiLeaks, who was supposed to be transparently transmitting the information, you send us stuff, we publish it. It appears that people have been sending them stuff, and then they've been using a coordination of PR, propaganda, and troll ops to present and spread the word about the stuff. It seems they've drifted far from their original mission, where they would have published information on both sides. Now it seems like they only publish information on one side. Maybe next we'll find out where WikiLeaks is really getting their money from. Hmm. Roger Ver has repeatedly been claiming that Bcash is the real Bitcoin. This can be diagnosed as honest business strategy, 5%, financial fraud, 84%. Looks bad for Roger Ver. I know he lives in another country and he's not part of the United States anymore, but there are still laws out there. There are laws against financial fraud, and it's a big mistake to ignore those laws. Retweet if you're still upset about the Great Library of Alexandria being burnt down. I'm still upset right here. Huge loss to humanity. We'll never really know what's in there, although some of the books have allegedly been preserved by the Pope at his amazing library at the Vatican. I hope that they'll digitize that library and put it online soon for the good of all scholars. Great news from Mistos at MIST HOSIO. My friend's project, Mythos, has now been released. They're out of beta. It's a multi signature wallet that you can share for your businesses. And unlike other multi signature wallets, Mistos actually has a way for you to properly add and remove people. Anyone that's used Copay knows that every time you want to create a new multi sig wallet, you have to go around the room and get everyone to sign the new multi sig. If you're in a startup company with 5 to 10 employees, most of them programmers, you're wasting the programmer's time to get them to sign the new multi-sig. This can all be wiped away with Mistos, which, thanks to Blockstack, allows you to store your data and use the Bitcoin blockchain. It's great stuff. And you can check out the interview I did with my friend Justin when we announced the Mistos public beta about a month ago. And we'll be doing another interview on Wednesday where we can talk more about his product and how you can use it to share funds in your distributed or decentralized organization. It's really cool. It's totally free software. It's great stuff. I think they take a small cut of withdrawals to keep the company in business. But other than that, totally free, easy to use, great stuff. Check out DJ Booth 007 on Twitter. He's calling on crypto journalists to write an article about scamclerk.com and get the word out. Not enough people know that a tool exists to easily find and block scam bot impersonators. There's one more person you should tell about this. It's Jack from Twitter. Jack from Twitter should be associated and improving Twitter by using scamclerk.com. If you have impersonators, those people that go around and say, hey, we're giving out free Ethereum, and they look just like you, you too can log in at scamclerk.com for free and clean out your Twitter account. No more of this free money things, all this giveaways. It's gone. It's gone thanks to scamclerk.com. This is a brave man going on a mission here. He says, hey, mad Bitcoins, thanks for turning me on to David Foster Wallace. Well, he thanks me now. I'm now just starting Infinite Jest. And this is a big book, as you can see from the pictures, and it's also got about 20 or 30 pages of endnotes, which you can read while you're reading the book. Some of the endnotes are interesting, talking about other characters in the plot. One of them is a really long IMDb profile created for one of the characters in the book, outlining and describing his various films, which aren't real. This is a big, big book about a lot of big topics. And of course, it's a line from Shakespeare, fellow of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back how many times I know not off. But yes, it's of infinite jest, a fellow of infinite jest and most excellent fancy. Horatio, yes. And we had a great tweet from Paul Vigna reminding us that REM is the greatest band ever. He was listening to the song Shiny Happy People, and he realized that the singer is most likely not one of the shiny happy people. He's watching them from afar, desperate to become one. So it's actually a dark and bitter song, not a light and happy one. Shiny, happy people laughing. Yes, I do believe he's observing them. People keep saying they missed the boat on Bitcoin, but there's this scene in Forrest Gump showing that he made a ton of money from Apple stock he purchased in the 70s. When we all saw that scene in 1994, we all thought, too bad we missed the boat on that one. But of course, if you bought Apple stock in 1994, you would be in a great place right now. Just like if you bought Bitcoin, even today. What is this? A Super Nintendo for ants? I got my Super Nintendo Classic out of the box and it is so cute. It fits in your hand. It's about the size of two Super Nintendo cartridges. You'll never be able to fit a cartridge in that cartridge slot because it's way too small. But I showed it here next to my Trezor Model T for scale. Trezors are the new quarters. How big is it? Oh, it's bigger than a Trezor. But that's not what we came to talk to you about today. I'd just like to ask everyone to give us a thumbs up and a share because this is, besides Bitcoin Talk Show and besides doing the news, this is Bitcoin Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk about elevator pitches. So, first, let's get the basics. Let's get them together because we're never going to understand this if we don't get the basics and we're not all on the same page. So, what is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch, elevator speech, or elevator statement is a short description of an idea, a product, a company, or oneself that explains the concept in a way such that any listener can understand it in a short period of time. This description typically explains who the product slash company is for, what it does, why it is needed, and how it will get it done. For the latter, okay, so individual, an elevator pitch does not have to include all of these components, but usually does at least explain what the idea, product, company, or person is and why it are valuable. The phrase's name originates from the fact that a pitch should generally last no more than 1 minute, which is the average amount of time people spend in the elevator. Okay, so let's break this down and let's try to figure this out. We've got our handy dandy Word document here. It's a Google file, but it's like a Word document. And what they're saying here in the definition of an elevator pitch is we need to know what it does, why it is needed, and sorry, D, and how it will get the job done. Right. So this is the big core of an elevator pitch. They also talk here. Um, it usually does at least explain what the idea is and why it is valuable. So let's see. Another variation would be, what is the idea? Why is it valuable? All right. So now we have this other website here, Mind Tools, which has a site about how to craft an elevator pitch. Certainly, we know when to use it, but let's go right to creating an elevator pitch. It can take some time to get your pitch right. You'll likely have to go through several versions before finding one that is compelling and sounds natural in conversation. Follow these steps to create a great pitch, but bear in mind that you'll have to vary your approach depending on what your pitch is about. So they start here with identify your goal. So this is very similar to the other site. Then they say explain what you do And then they say communicate your USP. What's a USP? It's a unique selling proposition. Identify what makes you, your organization, your idea unique. Okay, so what's unique about Bitcoin? And everyone should be playing along at home, getting ready to answer these questions and getting ready to contribute to the Bitcoin marketing agency. And it's cool if you don't want to contribute, you don't have to watch this show. Um, but it's better to contribute. It's interactive this way. We're looking to work with you. So engage with a question. This is very smart. So, how does your organization handle the training of new people? I'm going to be looking for a lot of these. We're going to go through questions. We're going to go through all of these after we write down the steps. Number five, put it all together. And finally, number six, practice. So, we're going to do all of these steps today. We are going to work out how to make a Bitcoin elevator pitch. Then you guys are going to call in. I'm going to time you for 1 minute. I wanted to time you for 30 seconds, but they said 1 minute. So I'm going to try to be fair and be cool. But I think 30 seconds is hot. 1 minute's a little long, but we'll give it a try. So let's work through some of these ideas and let's try to get an idea for what Bitcoin is. What we're going to do is we're just going to start at the top. A lot of these are similar. But let's just start by asking these questions. So let's go over to the chat here. I think I've got a chat you guys can see. There it is. So the first one is what it does. So what does Bitcoin do? You can tell me right here in the chat, or you can call in, although we're not really taking calls yet. So let's work with the chat. Let's see. Man buys 200%. Okay, so we're all mainly just talking about the news and the Kanyes and the Koinyes and all that. So everyone's got their coffee. They're all ready to go. Foxcoid is awake in Estonia. He's ready to do it. We've got Zeus. We've got Bitcoin and coffee. We got the whole crew. So let's see. What does Bitcoin do? Okay. Okay, well, Bitcoin is money, right? It's currency. Bitcoin's money and it's currency, and it's on the internet, on your phone, on your computer. So it sounds like we've described computer money, internet money. So that's where we're getting so far. What does Bitcoin do? People say freedom of choice to use a different monetary system, freedom of choice and empowerment. So let's see. If our first term was mainly computer money and internet money, then our second term is going to be freedom. Freedom. Okay, so he says Bitcoin choice. So you get monetary choice freedom, empowerment. Okay, let's see. This guy says protects us from the insanity and counterfeiting of the Fed. So let's go with that with and this might not be a word, uncounterfeitable. Uncounterfeitable. Okay, so that's kind of a word. Okay, can transfer energy or wealth. Okay. So it's a way to transfer energy or wealth. Let's see. Can be sent. Can be received. Okay. We're getting to some good ideas here, being sent and received. People in the chat, let's see. Bitcoin provides security. Okay. Security has a public ledger, shared database of kind, of a sort. Bitcoin keeps the state out of your pockets. Okay, so I think these are in freedom. So no state, no bank, right? All right. Let's see. They say it's a storage of past labor. Not sure which category that in. We'll start a new one here. So storage of past labor and value. Okay. So far, we might even make the text a little smaller so we have more room to think. Let's go back to full screen. Okay, so what does Bitcoin do? That's the question we're trying to answer here. The first thing that I got is that it's internet money, right? It's computer money. Um, that covers a lot of these. Money is currency. That's all the same thing. It's so let's see. Phone, computer. It can be sent or received. I think that's a good one. I'm going to clear out some of these old ideas that weren't as good. So what does Bitcoin do? Freedom. So it gives you freedom. Um, let's see, choice, empowerment. No government, no banks. Okay, so I think we're getting there. Money without banks. Okay, it's a storage of value, labor. Okay, it's uncounterfeitable. Let's see, you can transfer energy or wealth. I'm not sure if that's a unique point, but we're going to leave that here for right now. And finally, Bitcoin provides security of the shared public ledger, which we all know is the blockchain. So, let's see, one more thing people say money without government. Bitcoin lets two people do business without permission. Okay, so that's pretty good. It's permissionless. Now, this might be closer to the no government, no banks thing, but we're going to put that in anyway. That it's permissionless. Let's see. Virtual money. Yeah, people don't like virtual money because it seems like it's virtual, it's not real. Permissionless, there's no refunds, chargebacks. It's a protocol for the Internet of Money. I'm going to list that, but that's a little computer geeky, right? That might turn people off because people don't really know what the word protocol means as much as we do. We're a protocol droid, etc. But yeah, so let's see. Um, we might need to tailor these to our audience. When she talks to kids, she says it's like Roblox token that you can spend in any game or online store. So let's see, you can spend it online. So that's good. You can games, uh, investing, etc. Okay. There's a potential for privacy, but not private yet, right? So that's going to be a tough one. If you include privacy in your Bitcoin elevator pitch, it might get confusing because, as you know, it's only as private as you make it. If you work very hard, you can keep your Bitcoin private, but most of us screw it up all the time. So let's see. They say it's permanent money. Interesting word to put on here. Money from another dimension. That's nice. It does seem like space alien money. I think that's fair. So far, what we've gathered is what does Bitcoin do? Bitcoin is internet money. It's on your phone. It's on your computer. It can be sent and received. It gives you freedom of choice, empowerment. There's no government. There's no banks. It's permissionless. It's a storage of value or labor. It's uncounterfeitable. It can transfer energy or wealth. It provides security through the shared public ledger. There are no refunds, no chargebacks. It's a protocol for internet money. You can spend it online for games or investing, etc. It has a potential for privacy, but it's not private yet, and that it's permanent money. So let's see. We're seeing some more good ideas for elevator pitches in the chat. Tack for Alt says a non counterfeitable storage of value, online or offline, which uses the internet to transmit value worldwide without permission from any government or agency. And it's really good. Look at how many words he's putting in there and just the different concepts that he's combined into such a short sentence. I think he's really on his way. That's definitely what we're looking for in an elevator pitch. And later on, we're going to be having you guys call in and we'll critique them. You can also just copy and paste them in here and we'll talk about them more. But this is going to be a process. This is only the first day with elevator pitches. We're going to think of something else fun to do tomorrow. Maybe we'll make graphics. That might be fun. Oh, yeah, I made a graphic for this show. I didn't even show you guys. Come on. What am I doing here? Bitcoin marketing agency without a graphic. Huh, nonsense. Let's see. Okay, cool. Dropbox worked, kind of. And here it is, Bitcoin marketing agency, the graphic that I made yesterday. Ta-da! I like it. Also, I made another version. Let me see if I can pull that up too. Um, Alternate version, just for shits and giggles, right? As it is with the moon and the Lambo in there. It's a little too active for me. Um, but you can check that out right there. Bitcoin marketing agency. We've got the old Mad Bitcoins, European style. The Honey Badger, he doesn't care. Dorian Nakamoto not looking too happy. We got the roller coaster guy with a Bitcoin pizza logo on his car. The lightning. This is a light bulb in the background for the ideas that we're coming up with. And in the corner, we got some tulips because tulips are fun. But anyway, we were talking about what does Bitcoin do, and now we're going to talk about why is Bitcoin needed. For many of you, this is the problem section, right? This is where we discover the problem that we're trying to solve. So tell me now in the chat. I'll get you a typer. Why is Bitcoin needed? And again, everyone needs to respond. It'd be great, but I'll start us out. Why is Bitcoin needed? Okay, well, inflation robs from the poor. Potential currency problems, like if the US defaults on debt, because there is no internet money. Credit cards are broken. They expose your private key. Okay, so we're getting some comments in the chat now. If you're a business, it's needed as chargebacks on a credit card are a huge deal. So for businesses, no chargebacks, big deal. Okay, it's censorship free. You can donate to anyone. That's a big one. That's a big one. Like right now, all the other monies are censored. PayPal censored WikiLeaks, which again we always knew they would. PayPal is famous for freezing accounts. They do it all the time. eBay is the wild wild west, and PayPal is a place where they try to keep that down. So let's see what else we got. Thanks everybody for contributing in the chat. I think this is going really well. You guys are typing faster than I can write, so I think this is great. Let's see, why is it needed? For freedom for an individual, ability to travel, um, spend money anywhere. That's a good one. That's like a global monetary freedom provided by Bitcoin. Bank for the unbanked. That's a good one, because they don't have banks. This is their opportunity. There's no fees, no overdraft, no freezing. Like there's no countries. It's a pretty big deal to have a product that's country free like Bitcoin. We can seize monetary control back from government to people. Okay. Let's see. It's immune to seizure by the family court system. Uh-oh, we're talking about some personal issues here. I sense a divorce out there. But that is a good point. It's immune to seizure. Family courts, etc. That's a good one. Oops, got to scroll back a little bit. Um, okay, no minimum age. That's a good one. Spell that word, but minimum. Yeah, I don't know how to spell that. No minimum age. Free the people from fiat oppression. Fiat is oppressive. This is more like inflation. Robs from the poor. I'm gonna put that up here. Fiat is bad. Okay. Africa is coming. That sounds good. No third party risk. No third party. No middleman. Should put risk in here too, because the third party, it's not just that they exist and that they want to cut or whatever. It's that if there's a third party in between me and you, they could keep the money. When we hand that hot dog off to each other on the baseball stadium, they could keep the hot dog. They're the man in the middle, so that'd be bad. Let's see what else we've got here. No third party risk. Okay. Increase society time preference and eliminate short term thinking and consumerism. Ooh, this is a big one. I'm gonna just copy. Oh well, there we go. Um, it's more about change our society from wasteful to conservation, and so then I would say he's got increased society time preference and eliminate short-term thinking and consumerism. Also, I want to add to this plant eliminate planned obsolescence. All that word either. Um, That's so close though. Planned obsolescence. That's when they make like electronic devices to go bad in 5 years so that they can sell you another one. We want things to be more like that leather belt, where you have that belt that you can use for 20 or 30 years and it's a piece of leather and it has holes in it and it does its job, uh, rather than a belt made out of plastic that's going to like melt in 3 years. Just trying to explain that again. But let's see what else we got. Not counterfeitable. It's program. Okay, this guy's got them all. Okay, so let's see. Um, why is it needed? I think we had counterfeit on the other one, but it's such a big thing. Um, very few things are not counterfeitable in this world. Uh, it's a huge feature. I don't think we're selling it enough. Okay, so not counterfeitable. I agree with that. Programmable. This is a little techy, but I totally agree with you. Programmable money is incredibly valuable. Permissionless. I think we had permissionless in the above section. Unfalsifiable, that's kind of the same as not counterfeitable. Fair distribution, kind of mixed on that. The early guys got it really early. Permissionless, we had that for the other one, but it's also global. I think global's a good one. That's good to get that word in there. I'm gonna drink some more water. I've already spilled this water all over my desk. That's why I had the towel there. It's genius. Let's see. There's no know your customer. So there's no identification requirements. Um, let's see. He's never been divorced, but he's very well aware of how brutal the family court system is to a man. All right. Well, I'm glad you haven't been to court because it's tough. It sucks. You don't want to do that. It might eliminate wars. Okay. Also, disaster relief. Yeah, there's really 2 sides of that one, but, I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to get rid of the wars, even though we lose the disaster relief. So it's, pseudo anonymous, although that's a tough one. When you start including the privacy features in your elevator pitch, it's gonna be hard, because the privacy features are only there if you plan in advance to take advantage of them. If you buy your Bitcoin from someone on the street for dollars, you did a good job. But then if you marriage that Bitcoin with your other Bitcoin, you just exposed everything. So it's really easy to ruin your anonymity with Bitcoin. It's really difficult to properly keep it pseudo anonymous. So let's see what else we've got. It gives hope. I don't know if that's gonna make the final one, but that's a, good point. Bitcoin does give hope. Let's see. People Bitcoin Coffee gonna do a show together. Near infinite divisibility, yet non-inflationary. So that's pretty interesting. So it can, many more users. So yeah, because Bitcoin is infinitely divisible, it can expand to more users. It incentivizes saving, so that's good. Let's see. Dollars pay for war. Bitcoin is the money of the people. It's open 24/7. See, and now I think we're starting to get 365 even. Why it's so hard to sell Bitcoin, why it's so hard to do a 1 minute elevator pitch. Everything that we have on the screen here, everything that everyone's been sending us in the chat is totally true, is good points on how to sell Bitcoin. But what's going to happen is in your elevator pitch, you're going to have to pick 2 or 3 of these points that are your most important and we're gonna have to cut it down. So that's what I'm interested to see. And remember, everyone at home should pretty much be crafting their own elevator pitch. You can call in later. It's going to be about a minute. So if you want to get your own Google Doc up or a notes file or something, write down some notes. That's the way to do it. We're going to go back to the chat now and get some more ideas. Yeah, I'd like to share this list as a blueprint or an outline. That's a good idea. Thanks so much to David for sending us a $5 super chat. That helps support the show, and I appreciate it. Water, like stuff in the toilet. Water is, Brondo's got electrolytes. Come on. Aliens use Bitcoin. Yeah, yeah, Bitcoin will pay for war. But again, whatever Bitcoin pays for, you actually have to buy with the money. Part of what we've been doing with war is we just borrow the money. So it's not painful. That's why this whole 9/11 terrorist war that we're involved in right now, no one really feels it. When we had World War II and you didn't have, we had rations on steel and we had rations on aluminum and things like that, people could tell in their real lives that a war was going on. You couldn't just go about living your life and still have access to everything. You were affected by it. The way that war is done now, people just aren't affected by it. But if we actually had to spend the money on the war, you would be affected. You would know. So it's going to change things. Let's see. You can clear transactions in an hour. It's fast. Fast is a good one. Aliens underwater use Bitcoin. It spawns rhodiums. That's fun. Where can I find local Bitcoins with no KYC? Well, you got to think outside the box, right? I don't want to be the one to teach you, but if you make friends with people and you go and meet them for like $100, maybe they'll give you an extra 50. Oh, and if you made friends with them and you met them again and they gave you 50, I mean, it's about making friends. So if you go to a Bitcoin meetup and you make friends, you might be able to get 50 bucks of real anonymous Bitcoin. But once again, to get thousands of dollars of it, it's going to be very hard. No one I know wants to sell $1,000 to a random person because it could be interpreted as money laundering or some other kind of nonsense. Whereas I would say $100 is like, okay, you want to try this thing out, maybe you go and buy drugs with it, but I don't know. That's not something that I'm aware of. That's going to work. A lot of people at Bitcoin meetups will sell you $100, and just yeah, try to meet someone. Keep it simple. That's what they're saying. It's global borderless money. That's a good one. Let's see, borderless. I think we have global though, but I'll put that on here too anyway. It's top down, not bottom up. Okay, let's see. You get crypto dividends sometimes. Forks. Does Bitcoin Center still do cash? I think the Bitcoin Center in New York closed years ago. They were renting an incredible amount of space on Wall Street. Really, really ahead of their time. Let's see. It's not no credit score. Okay. So we're working on part two of our inflation pitch. Why is it needed? And let's see. It's decentralized like nature. And I'm just going to go through our pick of why it's needed. Bitcoin is needed because of inflation, which robs from the poor. Fiat is bad because of potential currency problems if the United States defaults on its debt. Because there is no internet money, because credit cards are broken, they expose your private key. Bitcoin's needed for businesses, there's no chargebacks. It's censorship free, you can donate to anyone. It gives you freedom, the ability to travel, to spend money anywhere. There's a bank, it's the bank for the unbanked. There's no fees, no overdraft, no freezing. It provides monetary control. It takes it from the government and gives it back to the people. It's immune to seizure by family courts, etc. There's no minimum age. There's no third party risk. There's no middlemen. We can change our society from wasteful to conservation, increase society's time preference, and eliminate short term thinking and consumerism, eliminate planned obsolescence, encourage saving. It's not counterfeitable, it's programmable, it's permissionless, it's global. There's no know your customer identification requirements. It could eliminate wars, also disaster relief, plus and minus. It's pseudo anonymous. It gives hope. There's infinite divisibility, so it can expand to more users. It incentivizes savings. Oh, we had that before, I guess. It's open 24/7, 365. Bitcoin is fast. It takes transactions in an hour instead of weeks. It's borderless. It's global. It's created from the top down, not the bottom up. You could get crypto dividends like forks. There's no credit score, and it's decentralized like nature. Okay, part three of our first elevator pitch brainstorming session is how will Bitcoin get done? And this is an interesting one for normal businesses. I think this would be a little more serious. Like if Apple Computer was going to make new laptops, they'd have to design them and they'd have to get a plant to make them and they'd have to ship them here. And there's a lot of logistics involved in making an Apple laptop. What's great about this right now is that Bitcoin pretty much already exists. So I'm not sure how much we need to get Bitcoin done. This might also be like how we can spread the word about Bitcoin or maybe how Bitcoin will grow. Growth, is that what we want to call this section? So let's try this section for how will it get done? Well, we're spreading the word. You, more people get into it. More buyers, price higher. More acceptance, more buyers, more spenders. So yeah, we're talking about user adoption. Bitcoin incentivizes its own getting it done. It goes up in value. Maybe that's what we're talking about here. So yeah, we're talking about okay. So the ETF will spread word about Bitcoin when approved. I think merchant adoption, like Amazon, eBay, like large scale merchant adoption, government adoption, country, bank adoption, central bank adoption, investor adoption. Let's see what the chat has. Okay. Better custodian options. Grandma is never going to be her own bank. Okay, well, the Bitcoin ETF will allow grandma to purchase Bitcoin as a stock in her already existing stock portfolio. She'll be able to pick up the phone and call her broker and say, "Hey, I'd like to buy 5 shares of the Bitcoin stock." Bada boom. So there it is. And also, I don't want to be negative here, but I'm not exactly focusing on that end of the spectrum. I want the young people. I love the old people. They created this world. They gave us all kinds of opportunity. But at the same time, the people really that we're marketing to here are young people. Young people are into computers. They already have the phones. They already have the internet. They already have the Instagram. They're already ready to shoot QR codes and send their money all over the internet. I really think the young people uh, are our hope. Let's see. Oop, move the whole desk. Bitcoin will get done when it deflates inflation from 4% to 2% in May 2020. So he's saying the halvening. Bitcoin production goes down by 50% every 4 years. So it becomes more valuable. What we're also talking about here is scarcity. Only 21 million Bitcoins. So that helps spread the word about. Okay, open source is a good part of how Bitcoin gets it done. Um, development, improvement, science project. Bitcoin is not organized like we said in the last one, top down, bottom up. Old people have money. Yeah, now they do. They don't have Bitcoin, so that's going to change. Um, but yeah, good point. Good point. Okay, so we're working on how will Bitcoin get it done? What are our ideas for growth? Let's see, a logical bank run, Cypress style. Okay, so bank run, banks fail. Same thing, government fail. Let's see, transparency of development. Even today, transparency of marketing. Anyone could watch this and they would know how to avoid our Bitcoin marketing messages and how to deconstruct them and take them apart. Only 21 million. We can add that millionaire line though. Not enough for every millionaire. Okay. This one's a little lighter, I think, than the other topics because Bitcoin already exists. This is the rare case where our product doesn't need to do anything to get better. Actually, our product has too many good things about it. So let's go through how will Bitcoin get it done slash growth. Bitcoin will get it done by spreading the word to you right now. More people will get into it, more buyers, the price will go higher, more acceptance, more buyers, more spenders. User adoption. Bitcoin incentivizes its own getting it done. It goes up in value. The ETF will spread the word about Bitcoin when approved. Merchant adoption, Amazon, eBay. Government adoption by country. Bank adoption, central bank adoption, investor adoption. Young people, the halvening, Bitcoin production goes down by 50% every 4 years, so it becomes more valuable. Scarcity, only 21 million Bitcoins, not enough for every millionaire. It's open source, the development, the improvement. It's a science project, a mailing list. The improvement is from the bottom up. The controls are from the bottom up. No one controls Bitcoin. No Satoshi at the top. There could be a bank run, banks could fail, the government could fail. The transparency of Bitcoin in development and marketing are other reasons why it will spread. So let's see. The other guys had the idea that we could do what is the idea? And I think we can answer this from our first section. The idea of Bitcoin is what does Bitcoin do? I think we got that. Why is Bitcoin valuable? I think we got a lot of that. And then this guys have got it down to a more of a shape. So let's try to form our first elevator pitch together. Then maybe we'll open up the phone lines and you guys can give me your elevator pitches. I'll time you for 1 minute on my cell phone here, ready to go. And then we can see about your Bitcoin elevator pitches, right? It says right here, what they say was engage with a question. So let's work with our question engagements here. So this is your opening line. This is your, you know, that's a nice dress. It would look good on my floor. Or, you that tag. Did you fall from heaven? I don't know. Goofy pickup lines. But let's start with our Bitcoin goofy pickup lines. So I think one of the questions I've heard before is, have you heard about Bitcoin? Okay, real simple, real direct. So tell me, what is your opening question? So for Bitcoin, not for picking up women. Come on, focus, get on the same page here. Have you heard about Bitcoin? Did you buy any Bitcoin yet? And again, this is going to get really nitpicky on the words. A lot of marketing is like George Carlin's stand up comedy. He picks the perfect words. And how does George pick the perfect word? Uh, he goes over it over and over and over again with a fine tooth comb until he finds the right word. Okay, so Matthew's got one in the chat. What kind of future do you want for your children? What I like about Matthew's idea is it's totally different than mine. He's going towards their family. He's putting them in a mode where they think about the future. And you think, are you going to have enough in the future? Do you have the right investments? That's a good one. Have you ever seen a Bitcoin? I like about this one is it's thoughtful because you can't see a Bitcoin. So this is one of those like put them in a loop, get them thinking type questions. Um, Yep, people in the chat are excited to come to Las Vegas and hand out flyers. Like I said, we're having another meetup on Thursday. Pretty much, I have the meetup scheduled right now. Every Thursday, we do the social meetup. We just meet up at a bar and we talk about Bitcoin and we talk about handing out flyers. And then I recruit people for handing out flyers, which we're doing on Fridays right now, every other week. August 3rd, this Friday, we'll be doing it again. Then next week, another social meetup. And the week following that, another social meetup, followed by another time to hand out flyers. So that's what we're doing in the Bitcoin Las Vegas meetup. And it'd be great if we can get some of these elevator pitches together, especially some really good short ones, and I can share them with the meetup group and get them ready. So let's see. Um, let's see. Why don't you have any Bitcoin? That could be a little mean. Let's go with do you have any Bitcoin yet? Kind of a variation of this one at the top. Um, let's see. If it's an elevator, you can always start with, "Did you fart?" What I like about that is it's totally a non sequitur, right? You're getting them off of their game. They're like, "Uh-oh, did I make a fart? Uh-oh." So that's pretty funny. Um, some of these I'm gonna just start copying and pasting straight from the chat because these are pretty good. Um, Let me read them out loud. So, Chester Copperpot says, "What would you say if there was a better form of money?" This is an interesting one because you're setting up in the question that there is a better form. So you set something up and now you're going to present it. And Audio Video Tweaker writes, "Have you ever thought about the future of saving and investing?" These are all really good opening questions. We're going to do live calls in a little bit. Right now, I think it's better to work with the worksheet here and to just talk about the various options for Bitcoin. Planetary money. Um, I like that, George. I might twist that a little. Like, have you ever thought about how you would spend money on Mars? See, what I like about these is really we're in the we're in the pickup zone, right? We're trying to break through their mind and say, snap, like you're bored, you're in an elevator, boom. What about Martian money, right? This is good stuff. Digital Risk has got another one similar to Have you seen the Bitcoin? But what's the weight of one Bitcoin? And again, what I like about this is they're nice and general. You don't have to be a crazy Bitcoin expert trying to pitch me. You could just be a person that's interested in Bitcoin and like your mind is just running and all of a sudden your mind just plops it out and you're like, how much does a Bitcoin weigh? And then people are like, well, what's a Bitcoin? And then you're in, right? So this is going really well. I like this one from Blake in the audience. He says, I quit my job over a year ago to work in the cryptocurrency industry. Are you familiar with Bitcoin? And I like that one. We might be able to make it shorter. Um, so maybe like, I quit my job because of Bitcoin. Have you heard of it? And again, that's the same words, same message, just less of them. Um, let's see. In a world where everything is duplicatable, how valuable might be the opposite? That's pretty cool. That's a good one. And again, these are what I like about these is I couldn't think of these. I'm pretty straightforward in a lot of my thinking, but you guys are coming up with some interesting ones, man. Interesting. Again, I can't spell either. That's another thing. Your okay, this one I'm gonna change, but your children will never have a bank account. I like this one because he could just yell it out in the middle of the elevator. Are you happy with your bank? Good conversation starter right there. All right, let's see. Is Bitcoin just made up money? That's a good one because all this, really from just even just this little research we did this morning on elevator pitches, starting with a question is a great way to go. Um, JSE writes, "Do you think one Bitcoin will be enough for retirement?" I like this one because it gets them thinking. They're like, "Hey, I don't even have one Bitcoin. Like, how am I going to retire? I'm in Bitcoin school. How do I get detention?" I don't know. I don't know about that one, but again, it's get anything that gets them thinking, right? These are ways to shake people out of their reality, right? Let's see. Started saving money in Bitcoin recently, then credit union, and it's gone up. It's a good one. Okay. Started money in Bitcoin instead of the credit industry. It's gone up. Do you know banks rob you now? How much do you think Bitcoin will be worth by 2020? And what I like about this one, I think we want to do an expansion on this one, and maybe just throw in 2013, Bitcoin was 100. Now it's like five 5,000. How much? What I like about these is that you're making them think, right? You're making them think already. They're like, "Hey, this Bitcoin already went up, 500 times or whatever. Oh, maybe it could go up more, right? Or 50 times, I guess." Is America's debt still rising? Do you think the dollar is safe? Along the same lines. Um, you know how to store your private key. That's a little techie. Bitcoin price is added to zero every 2 years. It's a good one. How do you invest for the future? So I think we've got a lot of good questions here. for when we're in the elevator with these people and we're ready to go. And excuse me, if you're writing your Bitcoin elevator pitch at home, pills, please feel free to take one of these questions. Even did you fart? And remember that we want your elevator pitch to start with a question. So now that we have a question, where's the rest of this? So identify your goal, explain what you do, communicate your USP, engage with a question. I'm going to bring this one back to the top. Engage with a question should be first. I don't know why they have that there. And communicate your USB, put it all together, and practice. So it just came back from the future. They said, buy Bitcoins. The banks own your money. All right. I'm going to put a few more of those questions in, but we are running out of time for questions. But you can see again just what a big topic this is. And I don't want to rush in through this topic, but I think that we'll come back to this again later, and that we're going to keep talking about elevator pitches because this is so important. We've been on for at least an hour now, so that's pretty good. So let's see. To do an elevator pitch, you've got to know what the idea is, why it's valuable. Then, as far as the actual format of the thing, engage with a question, identify your goal, explain what you do, communicate your USB, put it all together, and practice. So let's work on our first elevator pitch here. It doesn't have to be the best elevator pitch in the world. It's just the first one we're going to make. And as you can see here, it's very easy to make a Bitcoin elevator pitch, but it's so difficult because there are so many options, right? There's so many great ways to sell this. So let's see. We're going to use this format. We're going to create one or two elevator pitches as a sample, us working together. Then, very shortly, so it's good time to install Skype, get ready to go. I'm going to open up the phone lines, and you guys can give me your elevator pitch, or you can just tell me which one of these points you think is the most valuable, stuff like that. So let's pick a question. I'm going to try not to pick "Did you fart?" but I think it's funny. Um, let's go with I don't know. A lot of these are really good. I like the non sequiturs. I really think that they break your mind open. Let's just pick this one. I got to pick one. So, have you ever seen a Bitcoin? So the guy says, "Have you ever seen a Bitcoin?" He says, "No, I haven't." Right? Because it's impossible. There's like physical ones, but they're little toys. So now we'd like to go back up and identify our goal. So we're going to go back to our original thing here. What does Bitcoin do? So we've already told him that there is no physical Bitcoin. So which one of these points should we use to convince him on Bitcoin? Well, not the chargebacks. He's not a business, or the security, or the privacy. Let's see, going back down. So I said, have you ever seen a Bitcoin? So I think identify our goal, explain what you do, communicate your USB, put it all together. No, I haven't. So I think this comes back to why is it needed? Okay, so let's say Bitcoin is internet money. That's why it's needed. It's not counterfeitable, and it's global. So those are kind of the same. So let's see. No, I haven't. So Bitcoin, it's internet money, phone, government. That kind of tells us what Bitcoin is, that there's no physical Bitcoin. It's internet money. It exists on your phone. And I kind of threw in, I don't know if we need it, but I kind of threw in that it's not run by any government or bank. So then we want to say, somehow we want to have a call to action, right? Remember, call to action. It means that you do something like click on this or do that, right? Buy this, sell that, right? These are calls to action. So let's see. There's no physical Bitcoin. It's internet money. It's this on your phone. And then the USP. Like email for money. You don't have email in 1994. You don't have anyone email now, but if you learn about it, someday it will come in handy. Also, Bitcoin went up 50 times in the last 5 years. So if I met someone on the street, let's explain what you do. Internet money. I think that's part of this. Okay, so my elevator pitch. You time myself. Make it fair. Say timer. Cool. Just a minute this time. And are you ready? Go. There it is. Have you ever seen a Bitcoin? No, I haven't. Well, there is no physical Bitcoin. It's internet money. It exists on your phone and it's not run by any government or bank. It's like email in 1994. You don't have anyone to email right now, but if you learn about it, someday it'll come in handy. Also, Bitcoin went up 50 times in the last 5 years. Do you want to check it out? So at the end, I put in a call to action, right? So I move this call to action section to the end. You guys should always remember end with a call to action, right? Every web page, every book, every story, everything that you write needs to have a what do I do next? And our call to action is that you should call in right now. I think we've done pretty well towards formatting these things as about as well as we can do in a live group session like this. I went ahead and unmuted the phone call, so you can call us now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word, although it says it's muted again. Very strange. Okay, click. Oh, okay, just have to be more patient maybe. If you click it twice, it'll come on. So we are using a lot of bandwidth today. I'm trying out 2 cameras. That's right. Makes the show so much better. Camera 1. Camera 2. I don't know. And then we even have camera 3 on Skype, where you can call us now at World Crypto Network, all one word. I'll probably just start working on a second elevator pitch while I wait for you guys to call in with your elevator pitches. So let's start again. What we're going to do is we're going to find, did I make a copy? No, I didn't. Okay, well, let's just start here. Engage with a question. So which one of these questions? Let's see. Are you happy with your bank? Okay. So that's our question. Happy with your bank? And then what kind of points are we going to bring up? Maybe how I think this is going to be one of our points. Change our society. And I think also it's open all the time. Incentivizes savings. It's fast. So for this one, we really want to talk about the weaknesses of banks. All right. Are you happy with your bank? Nah, they suck. Then we're going to do our value proposition, right? We're going to identify our goal, explain what we do, and communicate our unique selling properties. So, no, they suck. What if I told you brand new internet currency not owned or run by any bank or government? Kind of risky because I already asked him a question. Bitcoin. So let's see. No overdraft fees. I think that's a good one to start with because these are something that normal people have. Let's see. No middleman. Let's see. Third party risk. Hold your own coins. People might be afraid of that though. See, a lot of these have pluses and downsides. And if we had a larger group of more people here in the chat, more people to call in with, I think that we would be able to debate these ups and downs more. And hopefully, maybe we might have to do elevator pitches all week. I was going to do this just today and I was going to move on to something else. But this is such a big topic. I think we've only really scratched the surface. So let's see. What if I told you about a brand new currency not owned by a bank or run by any bank or government? It's called Bitcoin. There's no overdraft fees, no third party risk, and you can hold your own wealth. Try it. Give you $1 right now on your phone. All right. So this is our sample for another Bitcoin elevator pitch. You start out with a question. Are you happy with your bank? The guy says, no, they suck. Well, what if I told you about a brand new internet currency that was not owned or run by any bank or government? It's called Bitcoin. There are no overdraft fees. There are no overdraft fees, no third party risk, and you hold your own wealth. Would you try it? I can give you $1 right now on your phone in Bitcoin. So there it is, a second elevator pitch, different than the first. This one focuses on banks and the problem with banks. And I did that because of the question. So let's see. People in the chat, they're saying they love the two cameras. Look at this. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. Do you accept Bitcoin? No. Oh, well, I'll go somewhere else that does. That's a good one. I've heard Max do that. He's a big he shops with Bitcoin. He won't shop at any store that doesn't have it. Wouldn't it be great to be your own bank, full control of your funds, buy and sell what you want? So that one, that might be. Let's try this one. Does your business take Bitcoin? So let's do one for the businessmen, right? So here we go. Question: does your business take Bitcoin? No, I've never heard of that. So what would you tell the businessmen about Bitcoin? So let's go back up to our list. It's getting pretty big. They tell the businessmen that there's no, well, there's kind of, they have to do those. Let's start with the no chargebacks. I don't see it in our list, but I know it's here. Um, there is a new internet currency not created by any government or corporation. No chargebacks or additional fees for holding your funds. And send it or receive it anywhere, anyone in the world. And it only takes about an hour. Confirm. Once confirmed, it can never be charged. Okay, so we're getting a lot of information in here. I'm trying to reduce it. I don't want to overload the businessmen with too much information. So let's see. Now to confirm. So if you had a business, and I would say, question, does your business take Bitcoin? No, I've never heard of that. Well, there's a new internet currency not created by any government or corporation. There are no chargebacks or additional fees for holding your funds. You can send it or receive it from anywhere or anyone in the world. It only takes about an hour to confirm, can't be counterfeited, and once confirmed, it can never be charged back. Would you like to try it? So I think the big thing that we're learning here from elevator pitches is the value of the question at the beginning and the value of the uh, call to action at the end. So if you're going to make an elevator pitch at home and you've never tried it before and you've never pitched anything, and this is your first time, then this is a great way to do it because you got to format it out. So let's do a timer here. Question: does your business take Bitcoin? Answer: no, I've never heard of that. Well, there's this new internet currency. It's not created by any government or corporation. There are no chargebacks or additional fees for holding your funds. You can send and receive it from anywhere or anyone in the world. And it only takes about an hour to confirm. It can't be counterfeited. And once confirmed, It can never be charged back. Would you like to try it? So as you can see, my pitches for whatever reason are clocking in at around 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a pretty tight pitch. If I had somebody in the elevator and I had to talk to them, what would we do? Ask them a question, gain their interest, explain Bitcoin, and explain at least one of its unique selling principles. But remember to tailor to your audience. Like Boss Lady was saying in the chat, if you're talking to children, talk about World of Warcraft, talk about Minecraft. If you're talking to a business, talk about how there's no chargebacks, there's no additional fees. If you're talking to a normal person, just talk to them about how Bitcoin exists on your phone and it's like email in 1994. You should try it out. It's going to get better. It's an exciting new thing. And put it all together with a call to action at the end. Question, explain yourself, unique selling position, call to action. That's how you do an elevator pitch. So now we need you guys to call in and to do an elevator pitch. And remember, you don't even have to write it yourself. You can use any of the things that we've brainstormed today in the chat to help you write your elevator pitch. We've got a lot of great questions, and later on, I'll figure out a way to share this file. They're asking for the share right now. Let's see what I can do. Get a shareable link. Anyone can view, anyone can comment. Okay, so you can comment with this link. So there you go. But yeah, we don't really have a good resources page. I know people have asked us to update the World Crypto Network page to add in some resources. We'll work on that. We're kind of between web guys right now. So it might be harder to do that than it really should be. But we're working on it. And for right now, I guess the Twitter is a good place for resources. Of course, if you want to join the World Crypto Network Slack, you can DM your email to Mad Bitcoins on Twitter, and I'll add you to the Slack. As of right now, we have the phone calls open. We're waiting for your phone call to talk about your elevator pitch. If not, I don't know, I could talk about video games or anything. I think we did pretty good today working on the elevator pitches. This is about what I was expecting. We got some great ideas from the chat, great contributions from the chat, as it says right here in my book. And now for a commercial break. This book is full of jokes. Doing a layout means having an idea. You can see we started out just like this guy, blank page, nothing at all, just a blank page. You have been commissioned to create a magazine ad for your client. All your efforts will be concentrated on finding a good idea. The actual layout becomes a matter of fashion and taste. This is wrong. Try treating the layout with the same intensity you bring to the main idea. Don't just arrange words and pictures. Invent a brand image for your client. Invent a look that dramatizes the product or service you're selling without regard for fashion. Place your magazine ad at the end of the corridor. It should be recognizable at 100 paces, and it should be obvious who it's an ad for without seeing the brand name. However fleetingly a viewer may see the ad, they must have at least a subconscious realization that they've been exposed to that particular company's advertising. This is an invaluable benefit to your client. In the example overleaf, the brand name has been deleted. You should still know what it's advertising. I don't know. That looks pretty far away. Down at the end of the hallway. I'm not sure if I know who that's advertising. A lot of these are British sources. Let's see. Compose your ad from the weakest point. If you know that your client's logo or product has to be big in the ad, don't hope that it will fit in the corner somewhere unobtrusively. It won't. Start your layout knowing that it's a problem to be solved and an integral part of the idea. Treat it as an advantage, not a problem. There's a continuous battle between the client and the ad agency's creative department. The client wants to advertise his name, his product, and its benefits. The creative person wants to advertise him or herself. The creative idea is what the agency wants to explode onto the page. The client would be happy with his logo. Yet, oddly enough, they need one another. The creative person has to have someone to sponsor his skill, and the client knows that the creative mind increases sales. Even Procter and Gamble recognize that. The villain is not always the client. It is the fashion of the day that usually dictates the layout. Be like Stravinsky, who says, I don't write music, I invent it. And here in red letters, upside down, he's written, be unfashionable, take risks. So, very good stuff from Paul Arden. It's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. The world's best-selling book by Paul Arden. And again, marketing. Look at that. The world's best-selling book. He put that on there in my mind even before this book was a bestseller, because he knew. And again, he's a huge ad man. Famously created the Volkswagen Think Small campaign. If you guys remember back, they had a whole page with a little itty bitty Volkswagen and said, "Think small." Smart, really smart. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining the show today. We had a lot of great comments in the chat. Seems like we're not getting any phone calls. So we're probably going to move on for today and talk more about elevator pitches tomorrow. I think this will give you guys a good chance to work on it overnight. You can ponder this, you can put some of the ideas together. Maybe even later, we could do some brainstorming, maybe put this stuff into a spreadsheet, start identifying the different parts of each one of these. Because the reality is, Bitcoin marketing is not going to be easy. It seemed like it today, but this is only day one of the Bitcoin marketing department. Remember, Bitcoin has no marketing, so we're doing it right here. And as always, you can support us by donating to any of the Bitcoin QR codes on your screen or any of these crazy altcoins accepted by Trezor. You can donate to our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/WCN or patreon.com/madbitcoins. And as always, you can donate to our Tallycoin campaign. We've currently raised around $45.01, 0.0%, towards our goal of $1 million to market Bitcoin. And we're marketing Bitcoin right now on the World Crypto Network. If we raised $1 million, we would use it to fund the World Crypto Network, to get a studio, and we would use it to print out flyers, to bring in speakers, to build up our Bitcoin meetup. The speakers could also do an interview at the World Crypto Network studios, and then they could have a good time in Las Vegas on their own. They don't have to take me with them to watch them lose money on the slot machines. They can do that on their own. But thanks so much for watching today. I appreciated everyone's comments in the chat. Not really getting the calls on Skype, but that's okay. We'll do this again tomorrow. This is pretty much Bitcoin marketing week. I want everyone to be involved. So let me know on Twitter other topics, other ideas for how we can market Bitcoin. A couple days ago, we had this idea for the elevator pitches, and it just seemed like such a good idea. I felt I had to jump on it. So be sure to check out everything on Twitter. We've got a great show going on kind of at the same time. Nico is live from Finland. So check that out on the Mad Bitcoins Twitter. We've got the link to Nico's show. You can check it out right here. They're probably still going over there. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, they're still going. Oh, look at that. And they've got the multi-box format with Nico in a little box. And some of the chat looks like it might be on there. Not sure, but very interesting live stream from Nico. Personally, I like the way Google Hangouts cuts around between the boxes. I've seen other people do this 4-box style, and personally, I'm not a fan. Kind of like that guy coughing there. It kind of exposes everyone trying to pick their nose and everything. But very cool new show format. Check out Nico's channel. It's called Consensus with a K-O-N, and they are live from Finland. You can check them out right now. I'll even toss the link in the chat. So thanks so much for watching. We're going to talk more about Bitcoin marketing all week right here on the World Crypto Network. This is all Bitcoin Marketing Week. Check in with us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. West Coast time. Until next time, bye-bye.